our first lecture for today. Right? Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, right, good. Okay, before we start, I'm sorry, I need to mute all of you. Okay, I'll be recording this session for your future reference. Okay, right. So this session is being recorded just for your information, so that you can refer back to the recordings in the channels, right? So the last week introduction, you can get it from the general. Okay, you can from the general channel. The recording is there, so you can somehow watch back the recording, right? So for the chapter, all recordings will be recorded and will be stored in the channels according to the chapters. Okay, have you all downloaded the manual of writing? Anyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right, good. So I'll be going through just a brief introduction, just a brief briefing on the manuals writing before we start our first chapter for this MEM 634. So before we continue our session, so let's open our first lecture for today by reciting the Al-Fatiha. Okay, we're waiting for the others. Hopefully, okay. Thank you for our class rep, okay, Miss Ellie, for initiating the grouping assignment list, right? So we do have six groups, okay, with 5 group members altogether, and hopefully all of the group members could contribute to your group assignments, that is your lab report, and also for your mini project. Okay, before I continue with the lecture, right, I would like to just give you a brief on the manual of writing, because from the list here, half of you are part 7 and half of you are part 8. And I do believe that all the part 7s are taking FYP1, is it? Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Anyone in part 7 is under my supervision? FYP1. Let me look at the list.
My co-supervisor.
Co-supervisor. Okay. Who is this? May I know?
Farid.
You are doing with Mr. Azim, is it?
Prof. Ismail.
Prof. Ismail. Okay, right. Okay, Farid. Okay, right. And then for part 8, you are taking A52, if I'm not mistaken. Am I correct? Where's the part 8 students?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right, good. So I'm expecting you to be a bit responsive. Part 8 students, you are going to graduate next semester, and you should be able to communicate effectively. Right. So I do hope you have downloaded the manual of writing from the UFuture, and you have somehow digested the contents. Okay. Part 8 students, I would like to ask whether you were given this manual of writing. Were you given the manual of writing, the same manual of writing? May I know? No? This is the part 8 students. Mardia, where's Mardia? Is Mardia here? Is the connection okay? Can I have some response?
Okay, sir.
Right. Is Mardia here? Where's Mardia? Mardia, are you here, Mardia? You are in here. How about Anas? Muhammad Anas bin Azhar. Are you here, Muhammad Anas? Yes. Who's this? Muhammad Azid, are you in another meeting? Right. I would like to have some response from you guys. Wan Fikri, are you Wan Fikri? Are you here, Wan Fikri?
Yes, Doctor.
Right. Wan Fikri, were you given this manual of writing for your FYP2? FYP1?
Sorry, Doctor.
Were you given the manual of writing? Manual of writing that I shared in my U-Future for your FYP?
Yes.
Were you given? Okay, this one.
Internet saya slow sikit. Hujan.
Okay, all right, no worries about that. So were you given this, were you given this manual of writing previously? Anyone? No. Okay, right. So this is the manual of writing that normally FYP students were given previously, right? So I hope you have downloaded this manual of writing, okay, so that you can produce a good report for your mini project and also for your table, for your lab sessions. Right, so this is a 2002 manual, okay, long time ago, but it is still significant, still relevant until now, because basically the format doesn't change a lot. Right, so I hope you download this and digest this and make sure you do follow all these instructions inside this manual of writing. Okay, may I know who have gone through this manual of writing? Anyone? Anyone? Not yet. Who not yet download? Right. Who have downloaded and gone through this manual of writing? Anyone? None?
I only read the
title, is it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, guys, because this subject has no calculations and whatnot, okay, things that you want. Okay, so please do go through all these things. You need to do a lot of reading for this subject, basically. Right, for this manual of writing, hopefully you do download this, digest it, and make sure when you do write your report, your mini project,
hello guys,
report, make
today
sure
the
formats, all these captions, figures, and whatnot
specified to the date
according to the manual of
check
writing.
this one because the link will now give a recording this
affects the sorry, this does not only apply
here. We can
to
see
your mini project and also for your report,
in the mailbox
for your thesis, final year project thesis, and also any other types of
for you to see the
because in part 8, part 7, I can say
YouTube.
Final year students, you should be able to write a very good report. Right? If your contents are good, but your report writing is very bad, so it's not good. Okay, so we want to make it balanced. Make sure your contents are good and your report writing are also good. Okay, just to give you some a bit of briefing on this manual of writing, right? So here we do have the table of contents, like you do see in many books and whatnot. Okay, in many report. So this table of contents should be the page number should be synchronized with your page. So if this is page 10, okay, so here there will be page 10, right? So let's say table 1.9, okay, is page 6. So when you go to page 6, okay, you do see this table 1.9. Right, so the page here, okay, the page here should be accordingly with your pages in your report, right? I do get some reports with table of contents, right, with page numbers, but the pages in every pages has no page number, right? So please make sure these are synchronized, right? And then after the table of contents, you do have the appendices, okay, right? table of appendices, list of tables, list of figures, if you do have all these, okay. And then when we start every chapter or every section, please make sure you do start with a description, right? So please make sure you do start with a description. We don't start a section, we don't start a chapter with a figure or with a table. Everything must start with a description, right? So you do the chapter with, and then we do have all these sections here, section 1.1, section 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, and so on, right? And then we do have subsection, okay, 1.6, 1.6.1, right? So if you were in my CAT class previously, maybe you do remember about this. I've also touched about report writing since MEC 45 previously. Okay, when we have a figure, we need to put a caption on it, right? So this is a figure, right? And this is the caption, okay, the title of the figure. Okay, for figures, the title should be below the figure, right? But for table, the caption should be above the figure, right? Why do I need to tell you all this? Because there's a com check. Are you following me?
Yes, yes.
Right. Why do I need to, right, thank you. Why do I need to tell you all this, even though you know it? Okay, even though some of you know, some of you don't know about it. Okay, I need to tell you about this so that when you do a report writing, okay, we would like to see your contents. Okay, we don't want to make corrections on all these formattings, all these captions and whatnot, right? Okay, so when you do have a figure, you put this caption as figure 1.1. Why is it 1.1? Anyone? This one, why is it 1.1? Any idea? No idea? From 30 students here. These are final year students, I think. Or this is part 1 students. Why is figure 1.1 here?
It is listed under chapter
first
1.
figure in
First figure.
chapter 1.
So figure 1 here is the chapter, and point 1 here is the number of figure in the particular chapter. So this is the first figure. So you should put figure 1.1, right? Although this figure 1.1 is in section 1.6.1, okay, but you don't put figure 1.6.1.1. You don't put it like that, okay? So make sure you put as figure 1.1. Okay, figure 1 is for chapter 1. Point 1 is the first figure. And when you do put a figure like subsection 1.6.1 here, you do realize that it starts with a description. It never starts with a figure or a table, right? So please make sure when you do have a figure, when you do have a table, you need to describe it before you put the figure or table inside your report. And it must be cross-referred. Means that you put a description here, blah, 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 okay, as shown in figure 1.1. Okay, below, okay, this below here, you can exclude this. You don't need to put below. Just put blah, 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 as shown in figure 1.1. And where is the figure? This is the figure. Okay, same as table 1.1 here. So this is chapter 1, and this is the first figure in chapter 1. The caption should be above the table, and you must cross-refer this particular table in your paragraph, right? So you can say the standard formats for numbering are shown in table 1.1 below, right? So you can exclude this below. You don't need to put this below here, because sometimes, like this figure 1.1 here, it is on the next page, so it is not below here, right? So you can just put figure 1.1 and also table 1.1. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes,
Yes.
Right. So please make sure I do not see all these mistakes again, or not. Okay, I will be penalizing your marks for your report. Okay, and then we do have appendix. Right. What is the function of appendix? This one. List of appendix. What is the function of the appendix? Appendices, we have appendix A, A1, A2, blah, 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 B, C, and so on and so forth. What is the function of these appendices? Anyone?
To give more information.
To give more information, right? Others?
To give information about the content.
To give the information about content, right? So sometimes, okay, student says to me that this appendices is where we put everything, okay, about what you want to put in the report, right? So basically, appendices is where you want to put something in the report, okay, but it is not that suitable to be included in the text, in the chapters, basically. For example, you do have some drawings, you do have some quotations, you do have maybe an official letter. Okay, say you want to visit somewhere, you make a letter to the company and you want to attach that letter as a proof that you have written a letter to the company. So you don't put it in the chapters, but you put it in the appendix. Right? For example, your engineering drawings. Right? So engineering drawing, normally the engineering drawing, the size is an A4 size. Right? Actual A4 size, so you don't put that in the chapters. Okay, you put it in the appendices. Okay, you put it in the appendix. But when you put those documents or those whatever figures, tables, catalogs, anything, brochures or whatnot, and you want to include that in your report, so you put it in the appendix. But you need to cross-refer those appendices in the chapters. For example, like this. Okay, so this is the formatting now. Okay, text paragraphs line must be justified. Justified means that all sides must be in one line, right? And then the begin text at new paragraph must be indent 15 mm tab. So 15 mm is like this. So here to here is 15 mm. Okay, see appendix A2 and A3. So you need to put this. Okay. Please refer appendix 1, appendix 2. Okay, see appendix 1, appendix 2, something like that. So when you look at appendix A2 here, so we go to appendix. Okay, appendix A2. So this is what appendix A2 here. Okay, appendix A2. Right, this is appendix A2, typing format of continue page. Right, so this is where you need to put the title and also what is appendix is all about. Okay, but in the appendix you don't need to put description. Okay, you don't need to put description because why? You have already cross-referred it in the text, something like this. Okay, but for figures, tables, anything, graphs, okay, especially your maybe your results that you want to do some comparison and whatnot in terms of table and whatnot. Okay, you need to describe it first before you cross-refer it in your text as shown in figure 1.1 or figure 2.3 or table 6.4. Okay, and then you further describe. Right? Is that clear?
Yes.
Right, good. Right, and then the final one, okay, the final one is about referencing. Okay, referencing, where is referencing? Okay, referencing format, right? So in referencing format, right? So those part 8 students, are you using any referencing platform for your FYP? May I know?
Mendeley.
Mendeley, right, good. Okay, I'm also using Mendeley. So this is Mendeley. That's my Mendeley. Right. So in Mendeley, okay, basically it is a very powerful platform for you to do referencing. Right. So this is where you put all your references here. Right. So you put your all references here. Okay. So this is where you do have the papers here, whatnot. Right. And then all these, okay, all these can be cross-refer in your report, right? So this is where for most of my papers, okay, or thesis and whatnot, okay, I use the APA style. Okay, APA style, right? So APA style is something like this. Okay, we do have the author's name. Okay, and also we do have the year that the publication was being published. All right. So this is where mainly the the list of references will be according to alphabetical order, right? The name of the author. Okay, but normally for your FYP, you will use, or your report, you will use IEEE. IEEE style. So this is where it will be numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, not according to alphabetical, but it will be according to your sequence that you put into your report, right? So again, your references must be cross-referred accordingly, okay, in your chapters and also in your list of reference, okay, and also your figures, your table, and also your appendices should also be cross-referred in your text, in your text within your chapters of your report, okay, and project report and etc. Okay, all right. So I do hope everyone download this manual of writing this week. Is it possible? Okay, download this manual of writing. Go through this manual of writing, right? And then please make sure you do digest what are the formats and so on and so forth, right? Because not only for this report, okay, for mini project also for your lab, but it is also for your final year project thesis. Because I do believe after you finish your degree, when you go out there, you will be producing lots of reports, right? So a report somehow reflects the person. Okay, so if you write a good report, so means that someone knows that you are very good in writing and producing reports, right? Because from reports is where we could read, we could know information about a certain case study, or certain research, or something that is going on, okay, based on the reports, right? So make sure, okay, you do have figures, you do have tables to support all your reports, okay, to justify everything. Okay, this especially for your design, sorry, for your FYP. Right, like me, my FYP is mostly on design, so there should be lots of figures, tables to support, the design process and whatnot. Okay, any questions on that?
No, sir.
Right, so I do hope you do download the manual of writing, okay, soon, and make sure that you digest everything. Okay, so that when you do a mini project and so that report, things are being written accordingly. Okay, now, have you downloaded the notes?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right, chapter 1. Have you read the notes? Yes, no, maybe. Anyone has read the note? Why there's another general meeting, eh? Okay. Has anyone read the note yet? No? Yes?
Tremendous challenge.
Why there's another general meeting in general?
Dangerous.
Who started the meeting?
Possession lost, intercepted. The hosts have really
general.
It's important to have strong opportunity. It is.
Yes, Microsoft Teams. Someone has generated. Okay, someone has generated a meeting in general. Okay, so please close that general meeting. Who's in there? Right. Okay, thank you very much. So do join the chapter 1 meeting. Right? Okay, Hafiz, right. So for the coming classes, right, so we will always meet in that particular chapter in the channel. So chapter 1, maybe there will be 1 or 2 meetings, lecture sessions. So when you log into MS Teams, just go to the particular chapter, Okay, and then you can start to
A wonderful intervention.
join the meeting that I've initiated basically. Right. So
Showing good
so
defensive judgment.
none of you have read the notes, is it? Well, this is again a subject with no calculations and whatnot, so I do expect that you do a lot of readings, okay, for this
Groundhogs moving the ball
subject,
with purpose.
right? So maybe
Can they
in the
convert?
next coming classes you can do some reading, okay, so that along the way when I give the lecture, okay, you have maybe things to ask. Okay.
Well, we can see
Alright.
here it's a good finish, but really it's all
So
about the
I'll be sharing my
concerted
screen
pressure
now.
Really disciplined, working as a
Okay.
team to force a mistake and regain possession high up the pitch.
Right, can you see
Then
my
we take
screen?
full advantage.
Yes, sir.
And space to
Right,
cross it.
so we'll start with the first
Well, not giving him any breathing room.
note on ergonomics. What is ergonomics? Alright, so I think you have heard about ergonomics before. Maybe if you do remember in MSc 435, okay, design consideration. Okay, other design consideration that we could consider in our design, among others, is human factors. Okay, so human factors is the same meaning as ergonomics. Okay, the same terminology. Okay, some continent of the world like the US, okay, they use human factors. Okay, and some of the countries use ergonomics. Okay. Some even use human factors and ergonomics, right? So basically all these terminologies carries the same definition, right? So basically ergonomics rooted, okay, the word rooted from Greek word, right? So it came from a Greek word that is ergon, that means work, and also nomos, that is law, ergonomics. So ergonomos, right? So how it became ergonomics, I'm not sure about that, but the name of this ergonomics was built up this ergonomics word, where in general the meaning is the laws to be observed at work, right? So something that relates to work, okay? So we need to look at the law of things that is being governed, okay, within that within that particular work. When we say work, right, there must be something, okay, that does the work. Am I correct? Okay, there must be something, and that something is someone, and that someone is a human, right? So when there's a human doing work, so he or she must be doing that work at a particular workplace, at a particular environment, at a particular place, right? So this is where, when there's a human doing something at a particular place, so this is where we need to consider about human factors and ergonomics. Right.
Tremendous
Is that clear?
And breaking at pace with menace.
Sir.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, sir.
I think there is someone problem with Teams.
Is it going to be?
Someone called with Teams, is it? Wait,
Not letting
just
the opposition have any scraps.
wait.
The referee is
Just
given a corner. Over it comes. Well, the keeper very decisive.
Okay.
Tremendous intuition.
All right,
to win it back.
Hafi, I'm okay.
Rivas.
Someone somehow joined two
good
times
vision.
for the
And a
MS
foul
Teams.
in the opinion of the referee. Now,
Hafi,
what
I
can
just
they do from this
I
free
just
kick
put your
situation?
request.
Certainly a
Anyone
tricky
here
call
has
for
two
the referee.
accounts?
He's gone for the yellow card, although there are those who would argue that was the denial of a clear goal score. Not an awful lot wrong with that free
How
kick,
do I
but
have
just
51
wide. When you set up for a free
members,
kick,
huh?
you have to hit the target. He wasn't
Anyone new
far
to this
off, but
class?
it was a miss.
Anyone just
Well, not
joined
the pass he
this
had in
class?
mind.
May I know? Basically, there's about
Well read to win
11 or
possession
12
back.
students that text me
Delightful pass.
to ask permission to join this class,
good idea,
basically. But the
but
policy is that okay, we try to make sure that all the other special topics are
Ready to get
also
tighter here.
filled with students, right? So I didn't give any information. So I'm only having 30 students. Anyone in Teams have 2 accounts? Anyone? Okay, because according to the members and guests here, I have 31. Right. Not including me. Not including me. But in the meeting, yes, the participants including me, 29. So we only have 28 of you online. Okay. Anyone who's the one having the problem here? Okay. Wait, I'm checking for the.
Way up. Oh, he's really opened them up here. A goal!
Okay.
Really being spoiled. This is attacking football at its finest.
Alright, so far Muhammad Hafi, Hafi, are you in? Hafi? Hafi bin... Is it? Are you here?
Yep.
Okay, you just joined, is it?
Yep, I just joined.
Correct. Okay, I think it's Muhammad Hafi, I think. Right. So can you continue?
Yes, sir. You get.
Okay, so going back to the ergonomics, right?
Good pressure to win the ball
So
back high up the pitch.
I just gave view right. In the previous class, in yesterday's class, I asked the students, if we are talking about human doing a work, at a particular workplace, right? So we need to consider ergonomics. What about if there is something I would like to show to you guys, question to you guys, for you to ponder and maybe for you to do some readings or some research, right?
It's a massive lead.
Anyone having a pet hamster at home? Anyone having a pet hamster at home?
It has gone over the touchline.
Hamster, guinea. You know hamster, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay, this tiny little animals, furry animals, right? That normally sleeps during the day and active at night. So these hamsters, I do have hamsters before, and those hamsters have died. And one ran away, I'm not sure how, and the other died after the human hamster gave birth. So at night, these hamsters like to run on the hamster wheel. You know the hamster wheel?
Keeping possession.
Right? So when those designers would like to design this hamster wheel, okay, so they must design it based on a certain size, based on certain dimensions and whatnot, right? So if they consider ergonomics in designing those hamster cage or hamster wheel, right? So this is something for you to ponder. Okay, you don't need to answer it now, right? Maybe you would like to do some further readings and whatnot. But talking about animals, because just now when we talk about ergonomics, okay, we also observe at work, and when we talk about work, it must be human work at the workplace. So this is talking about human, but how about animals, right? How about animals? So did those designers consider ergonomics in designing all those accessories for the animals? Okay, so let's go into the relations, because we are the mechanical engineering students, so we are looking human factors from the perspective of engineering, right? So these are some of the human factors components that is embedded in human factors. So we can look into physical and mental work capacity, body sizes, vision, decision making, behavior. There's lots of things. Anything that has to do with human. So this is where we could study about human factors. And when we talk about engineering, we have lots of things that is related to engineering. Right? We have product design, furniture design, lighting, maintenance, acoustic, industrial design. So how does all these human factors are related to engineering? What's the keyword here? Anyone would like to have a guess? We do have this left side here, human factors, right? The human factors elements here. And we do have the engineering field here, or engineering applications here, right? So how does these human factors, are related to this right side engineering applications here? Why we need to consider, these human factors in these engineering applications? Why is that? Anyone would like to have a guess? Anyone? Yes, who's this? Come on, I have 30 students online. Or are you not here with me?
We are here, sir.
Yes, right. Who's this?
Me?
Yes.
Farid, sir.
Yes, Farid. Right. So how or why, all these human factors elements here, or how, these human factors, is being related to the engineering applications over here on the right side. Why we need to consider all these elements here within the engineering applications on the right side of the screen here? Come on, just give a guess. There's nothing. Say again?
Because the human is the engineer.
Yes, because we have human in here. Because we have human in this engineering application that does the work, right? And all the works are being done at a specific particular workplace, right? There must be in a factory, there must be in a production line, maybe in an assembly line, maybe in a workshop, maybe in a vessel, maybe in anything, right? And there's someone in there that is human that is doing a work. So when there's these elements here, right? So we need to consider human factors and also ergonomics, right? So along the slides, you will be seeing a lot of ergonomics definition. What is ergonomics basically, right? So literally, ergonomics is basically a study or measurement of work, right? Something to do with work, something that can be quantified, and it normally involves many areas, from sports, leisure, domestic work, education, health, and social services, right? So there's lots of things that you could consider as long as there's a human and that human is doing something, right? That human is doing something. Tell me a human that is doing nothing. Tell me, is there something? Is there someone? Or no? A human that's doing nothing. Tell me. Say again. What was that? I didn't hear you.
Someone that already died.
Someone that already died. Right, someone that already died. So he's not doing something. So do we need to consider something about his comfort, about his safety? No, because he has already died. Right? But maybe to put the coffin inside the liang lahat, right? So there must be some size, right? So someone that is managing the corpse, managing the janazah, so he or she needs to know what is the size, right? Because she is doing something. But someone that is doing nothing, the corpse, someone janazah and meninggal, so this is where he or she, we don't need to consider ergonomics because they have already died, right? So this is talking about someone that is doing a work, in a workplace or whatnot. So this is where we need to consider ergonomics. My students previously said that sleeping, sir, someone that is sleeping. Right? When you are sleeping, are you not doing a work? Well, basically you are doing a work. What work you are doing? You are sleeping.
Breathing.
Right. Yes, breathing. So when you are sleeping or when you are breathing, right? So what interacts with you? Your mattress, right? Your mattress, your pillow, the space you are in. If you are in a very small confined space, maybe you'll be having some problem to breathe, right? So, for example, okay, a jet fighter in a cockpit, okay, in a small cockpit, okay, with the high pressure, okay, at a high altitude, okay, so the oxygen is very, very low, okay, in a small cockpit like that, so he will be having a problem to breathe. So what does engineers comes out with? They comes out with this special mask to provide oxygen, okay, from the tank to the face of the jet fighter pilot, right? So again, when you are sleeping, even when you are sleeping, or even when you are not moving, okay, when you are not moving, at least you are sitting. So when you are sitting, you must be sitting on something, right? So again, anything that has to do with human that is doing a work, okay, in a particular workplace. Workplace it doesn't mean you are going to work. Even you are at home, you are doing something. So that's your workplace. That is your workstation. Right? So we are having ODL now. So you are at home, okay, at the other side of the screen. Maybe you are on your bed. Maybe you're on your dining table. Maybe you are in your car. Maybe, right? So like the class, yesterday's class, okay, last week. One of the students, okay, was in her car, okay, so she was having the class in her car, right? So basically, again, when there's a person, there's a human doing a work at a workplace, so this is where we need to consider ergonomics, right? So when we talk about ergonomics, okay, the person, the human, this is where we call them the operator, okay, human operator. Okay, this is not the operator. When we say operator, so our mindset will automatically reflect those workers at the factory, right? Operator pengeluaran, yang kerja-kerja kilang tu, no, right? But in the ergonomics terminology, the human that is doing the work, so this is where we call them the human operator, okay, or the operators, right? And when we do have human, okay, every human is different from one and another, right? So this is where we do have variability, okay, variability of humans, okay, amongst the human operators, right? So this is where you could see we have sizes of shirts: XL, S, M, XXL. We do have L for European size. We do have XL for Asian size, right? Why do we have all this? Because humans are different. But again, when we design something, we are unable to design a specific product for just one type of person. Okay. For example, your shirt. Okay, you are producing an Adidas shirt, jersey. Okay, you have a team of football players. Okay, 22 players, right, including the subs. And then you want to make every person's jersey to be tailor-made. Is that possible? Is that possible? May I know?
Yes, it's possible.
Yes, it is possible because only 22 players. But how about the 80,000 of fans, supporters that goes to the stadium? Is that possible? It is maybe possible, but the cost will be very high. The time will be very high. So this is where we do have range of sizes, right? Because why? Because humans are different, okay, in terms of size, in terms of strength, right? So this is where, again, how does ergonomics comes into the design of products, is where we try to accommodate all these sizes, okay? All this variety of sizes. Okay? Even you yourself, this is what we call interhuman variability. But we do also have intra-human variability, whereby you yourself, if you look at your right hand and also your left hand, okay, basically it looks the same, okay, but if you do measure it carefully, okay, maybe you will see some parts of your limbs is maybe a bit more longer or a bit more shorter. Even your face, this one I shared also yesterday with my ergonomic class. I took art class when I was in my high school, Form 4, Form 5. So I took art because so I do like to draw a lot, okay. So that's why maybe I'm in the design line, since I was in my school bench, since I was at my school bench. So my art teacher, Mr. Ahmad Nazrin, said that if you take a photo of your face, right? Take a photo of your face, you print it out, okay, and then you divide your face into half, and then you impose your right half of your face to the left. Okay, you impose it and then you attach it together. You will see a different you. Okay, because your right face and also your left face is different basically. So if you impose your right face to the left face and then you attach it together, you will somehow see a different you. Right. So this is how unique, or how unique humans are, because we do have lots of variability. Right. So this is where we need to consider ergonomics. So what is the aim of ergonomic? So basically, without taking or without going through these slides, I think you do know what are the aims of ergonomics, what are the benefits of ergonomics, basically. Right. So this is where we want to make sure that humans, when they are doing something, okay, they are doing it safely. Okay, it is comfortable for them. Okay, so that what they do, okay, they can do it efficiently. Okay, and they can perform their work, okay, effectively. Right. So there's lots of aims, okay, particularly in design, okay, basically for designing of appliances, okay, systems or tasks. Right. So among others is where we would like to improve all these attributes towards the human benefits, right? Towards the human safety, towards their health, okay, so that they are not injured, okay, we can reduce illness, okay, towards their comfort, okay, so that they don't get MSDs, okay, we look into musculoskeletal disorders, okay, like back pain, okay, trigger finger carpal tunnel syndrome, okay, and also we could improve their performance. Okay, to improve their performance. For example, right? For example, when we were kids, I'm not sure if you happen to experience this experience when you were little young kids, when you were maybe in standard 1, maybe, or maybe when you were at 5 or 6 years old, when you were playing football at that time. Okay, did you wear any footwear? Anyone? Those guys out there? Did you wear any football boots?
No, kaki ayam.
Kaki ayam, yes, right. Chicken feet, chicken feet. Kaki ayam, right. So those times, okay, when people started to play football, okay, they started to play with barefoot, okay, and then when shoes were being introduced, so they started to wear shoes, right. And then when they play, and normally they will play on not on grass lah, not on grass field, on maybe on normal tanah merah, right? So, and then when they started to play on grass field and it is a bit slippery, so this is where from normal shoes they started to put on studs underneath, right? To put studs underneath it. Okay, so people started to play with 6 studs of boots. Okay, 6 studs, and then from 6 studs, they increase it to 10 studs. Okay, and then to 13 studs. Okay, and then normally nowadays they will have about 13 to 16 studs on underneath the boots, right? So there was this one player that introduced the curved kick. If you do remember, anyone? The curved kick.
Roberto Carlos.
Yes, someone from Brazil, Roberto Carlos, right? So he started to introduce the curved kick, right, on a free kick in one of the World Cup matches. So this curved kick was being done by Roberto Carlos, and it was being replicated by many football players. Kita pun ala-ala Roberto Carlos lah, nak main bola, take a free kick, so we want to make that curve, right? We kick with the inner part of our foot, right? So when there's new technology came in, right? Research came on and whatnot. So Adidas came out with the Adidas Predator, right? Adidas Predator. You know Adidas Predator? So there's a boot, the first boot Adidas Predator was introduced, whereby they have this somehow special features of rubber, okay, staggered rubber, okay, on the front part of the boots. So this way they want to create more friction so that this curved kick could be applied. So you can see with all these evolutions, this is where it started to improve the performance of football players, right? So this is where when we have this ergonomics, okay, they started to design boots. Okay, if you do know Adidas Predator, I do have a pair of this Adidas Predator. Okay, it was being produced in 2002, Adidas Predator Mania. So if you look at the heel, okay, at the heel, okay, somehow the heel is being what do you call that? Being strengthened. There's some special plastic part that somehow firmly grips your heel, so that you are not injured easily, right? So why is that needed? Because of maybe some players complain about their heels being injured, not comfortable taking kicks or whatnot. So this is where ergonomics comes in, and they started to put in all these improvements into the boots. And now this is where we do have good football players with better performance by using improved football boots or football cleats, right? Okay, so these are the basic aims again of ergonomics, okay, to increase efficiency, okay, to reduce waste, error, damages to person, means that we would like to avoid any injuries, okay. And when we talk about human in the workplace, we are also talking about the environment, okay, the environment. So when we are in the workplace, okay, there must be other people also in the workplace. Okay, when we are in the class, there must be other friends of us in the class. There must be other colleagues of us in the class, right? So when we talk about the emotions in the particular environment, okay, the surrounding, okay, how does it feel? Okay, is it stressful? Is it fun? Is it maybe you are now a bit sleepy, okay, due to this ODL with all these wordings and whatnot, right? So this is the environment, okay, that also affects the human. So that also needs to be that also ergonomics needs to be considered in this particular condition, right? However, to have all these aims, all these goals to be achieved, okay, it is not easy. It is not easy. Because why? Because when you are playing with humans, playing with live elements, it is not easy. It is not easy. Okay, so that's this one pepatah. Pepatah Melayu, they said, okay, hair color not same as black. Okay, right? But hati, what is hati in English? It's not heart. Heart is jantung. What is hati in English?
Liver.
Liver hati ya?
Tak sure.
Liver. Oh, okay, boleh tengok you can Google it back. Liver not the same. Rambut sama hitam tapi hati dan lain. So when we talk about human, okay, it's hard to satisfy everyone. It's hard to cater everyone preferences. Okay, so this is where it is difficult to apply or to achieve all these goals of ergonomics. Okay, because why? Because humans are different. Okay, humans are different from one another. Okay, they are flexible. Okay, you say to these standard 1 students, okay, Brato, please make 1 line, and then you will see another 2 lines. Okay, you ask them to walk straight, and then there must be 1 or 2 of them will go to the left, will go to the right. Okay, because why? Because we have this very complex AI that somehow we can disobey things because we are not robots. Right? So this is some of the difficulties, because we are different, okay, because we are flexible, okay, because we are different in terms of size, in terms of our strength, physical, okay, in terms of our culture and whatnot, right? So this is where it makes it very hard for us to apply ergonomics at certain things. Okay. However, this is where we look into population percentiles, whereby we do cater for certain populations, certain percentiles, or certain range of humans, so that all those humans, okay, with respect to that particular range, could somehow adapt or follow the ergonomic interventions or ergonomic elements of that particular procedure, task, design, or whatnot, right? So talking about this culture, right? So culture is something that is, I can say, amongst the hardest thing to change, right? Culture. My house is at section 23. If you do know section 23, it is just beside section 24. Section 24 is uptown Shah Alam. And my house is just slightly behind Aeon Big. Aeon Big, you know, Aeon Big, this supermarket, right? Aeon Big. So previously Aeon Big, or Aeon Big is under the Aeon group. So this Aeon is basically from Japan, right? So I think last year or the past 2 years, when I go to buy some groceries there, and when I come to a counter, there must be one cashier there. It's a guy, it's a male cashier, okay, that will somehow repeat everything that you buy before he cash in. He swipes your barcode for that particular product, okay, and then he will repeat what your product you are buying, okay, and then he will repeat the total amount what you need to pay, and then when you pay something, let's say the amount is 95 ringgit, right? So you pay 100 ringgit, so he will say that, okay, this is 100 ringgit, okay, you pay 100 ringgit, so you will giving him back, giving the customer back 5 ringgit, so he will say, okay, this is the balance of 5 ringgit, right? So when I saw him, okay, so I remembered my experience when I went to Japan. Right? When I went to Japan, I do not know Japanese language, frankly speaking. So the first time I went to Japan, so when I went to buy things at shops, okay, to buy some bread, okay, maybe some Pepsi Cola or whatnot. Okay, so when I come to cashier, the cashier will say something that I do not understand what is it, right? So when I ask my friends studying there, so basically the cashier is repeating what you are buying, including what you are paying, and then they will say back to you your balance. Okay, this is your balance, right, and so on and so forth. So this is a culture there in Japan, right? It is a culture there in Japan. Any shop you go into at Japan, okay, they will do the same thing. Okay, from north to south, right? So when I met this guy, I didn't remember what his name here at Aeon Big, right? So I asked him, this culture seems familiar to me. So I asked him, have you been to Japan? And he said, yes, he was trained in Japan by Aeon. Okay, because why? Because he was elected as one of the best staff at Aeon. So Aeon sent him to Japan, okay, to undergo training with the Aeon group over there in Japan. Right, so I said to them, it's good to have this, right? It's good to have this because it's like the cashier is communicating with you, right? It's like talking with you with his smile and whatnot, right? So this emotion, you know, it creates emotion, right? So well, somehow the emotion doesn't lessen your total pay, your total bill. It doesn't lessen that. But somehow it gives you a good feeling going to shop there, all right? And then I asked him, from all these, there's about 12 or 13 cashier at Aeon Big, right? So normally half of it will be open to register what you are buying at Aeon. Okay, just a com check. Are you following? Are you following my story?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. So I asked him, why is you the only one that is doing this, but all other cashiers are not doing this? Well, he said that basically all of the other cashiers are being trained the same thing. But again, because of culture, because of culture, we don't see that here in Malaysia. You don't see if you go to Speedmart, if you go to Elius Mart, is it? Maybe Elius Mart, okay, Elius Mart. You go to 7-Eleven, okay, you don't see this culture here. So by that, okay, it's hard for the other cashiers to apply this, even though they are trained to be like that, right? Because why? Yalah, mungkin they feel ashamed, mungkin malu, mungkin rasa macam, right? So I told him if I were given the opportunity to elect one of the staffs of the Aeon Section 23 to be the best staff, so I will elect him, right? So he was very friendly, he was very warm, right? Because of that culture. So culture is very, very hard for us to change, right? So something about culture that I shared yesterday with my other group of Ergonomic class is where again I like to take Japan as one of the example, right? Because over there, if you go there, okay, Japan is a country where it's full of culture, okay, full of culture, and normally we are informed that the Japanese people are very, very disciplined, and yes, they are very disciplined. But not all but most of them are very, very disciplined, right? So one of the other example is when we are going up an escalator or going down an escalator. Okay, we can see everyone is queuing or everyone is standing on the left side of the escalator. Because why? Because they are making way, because they are giving way to other people that needs to run on the escalator. In Japan, only in Japan, I think you can see people running on escalator. Okay, walking is normal, but running on escalator, you can only see it in Japan. Because in Japan, normally the escalators, shopping malls is common, but most of the escalators are located at train stations. And train stations, train schedule in Japan is very, very precise. Right? It is very, very precise. And G-Shock, right? G-Shock watch manufacturer, they also have synchronized the train time, okay, with maybe one big antenna transmitter that they locate somewhere around the city, around the town, and that time is also synchronized with your watch. Right? So how precise are them? Okay, if now it's 3:15, right? So the next train will arrive at the station and stop in front of the platform at 3:17 p.m. So if you are 3:16 on the escalator, you must be running, because at 3:17 sharp the train will arrive at the platform. Right, so I have made a few experiments on this, and yes, okay. And if we normally when we go to Japan, we will use lots of Google Map, right? So Google Map and the train at Google Map. Let's say we are on the train, and we will arrive at the next station at, let's say, 3:27, right? 3:26, 3:25, the train is arriving at the train station. 3:26. The train is still moving. 3:27, it will stop in front of the platform. So this is how precise, okay, Japanese people are, right? So talking about culture, it is very, very difficult. Okay, so that's why when we want to apply ergonomics, okay, we need to consider all these other variabilities or individual differences, okay, so that we can cater for most of the populations. Right, so these are among others definitions of ergonomics that you can look into. The one that I would like to stress more is on this second one. Okay, ergonomics attempts to fit the job to the man, okay, rather than fitting the man, okay, to the job. This one, okay, the number 2 one. Okay, the others is basically about improving work, reducing illness. Okay, looking into design of the system where people is in it. Okay, we're talking about optimizing efficiency, health, and whatnot. But this second statement here, definition here, this is where when we talk about ergonomics, you will see lots of this, whereby we are trying to fit the job to the man. Okay, and this job is not necessarily a job. Okay, not necessarily a job or a work. Okay, it is basically about anything that is related to a human. Okay, if we are fitting the man to the job, this is where, for a simple example, okay, you bought a pair of jeans. Okay, you didn't try it at the shopping mall. Okay, you just look at the waist. Okay, 36. Okay, this is my my size. So you just take it, buy it at the counter, and then you go back home. When you go back home, somehow after you've been dieting for a couple of while, you've lost some weight, and then you happen to see that, oh, this pair of jeans is much bigger of 2 inches, right? So yours is 36, your pair of jeans is 36, and somehow your waist is only 34. So what do you do? What do you do?
Alter.
You alter it. Okay, you alter it so that it fits your waist, right? Okay, but maybe you say, maybe if I alter it to 34, maybe one time my waist will go back to 36 after Hari Raya, maybe, right? So what do? You will wear
Belt.
You will wear a belt, right? You will wear a belt so that it can be adjusted. So somehow you are trying to fit your waist to the pair of jeans. So this is where we call it fitting the man to the job. You are fitting yourself to the particular condition, okay, condition, situation, job, and tools or whatnot, right? So this is where aim of ergonomics, we are trying to fit the job to the man, okay, rather than fitting the man to the job. Okay, so again in ergonomics, okay, humans or the people inside that particular system, in that particular workstation, workplace or whatnot, we call them human operators, right? So who are these human operators? So it is not only the workers at the factory, not the workers at the office, not the workers at the counter. It is every human that is involved in a particular work. And that work is not necessarily a work yang macam kita bekerja ni lah, right? It is something that they are doing. Anything that they are doing, so that is considered a work, right? So it can list from skilled professionals, okay, until disabled people in a wheelchair. They are also called human operators. This is in the context of ergonomics, right? But maybe if we call an operator, okay, we are talking to somebody, and then we somehow we state operators, okay, are not doing their work, blah blah blah. So maybe other people will think operators at the factory, pekerja kilang, right? Operator pengeluaran, right? Or maybe operators that is on the other side, okay, on the other side of the line, okay, operators that answers your call, that is also called operators, okay, operator telephone, right? So when we talk in the context of ergonomics, okay, this is where, okay, we call them human operators. So child sitting in a classroom is also called a human operator. Okay, how about the discipline of ergonomics? So basically we have lots of discipline that requires ergonomics. Why? Again, all these disciplines do have people in it, do have humans in it, and these humans are doing something, right? Doing work. So it is between multidisciplinary and also interdisciplinary. So we have everything in it. So these are common or typical areas or disciplines of ergonomic psychology, physiology, and anatomy. So that's why when ergonomic design is being first introduced here in mechanical engineering faculty, so people started to ask, why do our students need to learn this thing? Okay, we are mechanical students, we should learn about gears, we should learn about steel, we should learn about materials. Why we need to learn about human? Why we need to learn about anatomy? Why we need to learn about muscles? Okay, this is a subject like for medical students, like for health sciences students, for biological students, but not for mechanical engineering students. So those were the words that we heard previously when we started to introduce this subject, okay, in FKM, right? But then when we started to learn design, okay, when we design something, we must design for human. Okay, the person using that particular product, particular tool, particular machine, or the person that is following that particular procedure, okay, is the human. So this is where we need to consider ergonomics. Right. So among others, you can see law, we do have ergonomics. Management, we do have ergonomics. Okay, because we are managing people, we are managing people's emotion, right? We are managing people's perception. Okay, so engineering, of course lah. Okay, medicine, of course lah. Toxicology, of course lah. Okay, in economics also we do have ergonomics, right? And then if we elaborate much more further, okay, we do have manufacturing that we need to include ergonomics. AI, artificial intelligence, okay, robots that we need to include ergonomics. Okay, it's system designs, work organization. So this is where ergonomics is, I can say, is being embedded in anything that involves human, okay, doing a work in a particular workplace. All right. Any questions on that? I think it is very straightforward. Okay, professions having complementary roles with ergonomics. So there's many professions. Okay, you can just name it. Okay, as long as they involve a human. Okay, doing work. Okay, in a particular workplace. So this is where we need to consider. Okay, ergonomics, right? So last semester there was one of my students from my ergonomic class. Okay, her name is Ain. So she would like to be a safety officer one day. Okay, so I told her, yes, you are taking the correct course. Okay, because for you to be a safety officer, you must make sure that your employees, your workers under you, when they are doing work, okay, they are safe, right? You need to make sure that their health are good, okay, and you need to make sure that they are free, or you can avoid any injuries that would happen to your workers, right? And it is not easy. It is not easy because what? Again, because you are managing people. Just imagine you just graduated and then you got an offer to be a safety engineer at a construction site, okay? And at the construction site, you see one of the workers is not wearing a safety hat. He's not wearing a safety boot. What happened? So you need to confront this worker and you need to tell them, I'm sorry, sir, you need to wear your safety hat. And this particular worker, this particular labor will look you up and down. And then he will say, who are you to ask me to wear my safety hat? Hey, I've been working here for 15 years. You just joined us yesterday. So who are you? So this is where, again, communication skill is very, very important, right? Not only for safety officer, again, it applies to all other professions, right? Because why? Because you are dealing with human. If not, you are dealing with robots, you are dealing with machines, okay, you're dealing with the computer, something is wrong, what you can do, you can just press Ctrl, Alt, Delete, and then you can just shut it down, right? But because you are dealing with human, again, because human, we are different from one another, there's lots of variability of human, okay, between one another. So this is where comes your communication skills, okay, comes your what do you call that? I forgot the name. Sympathy, is it? Okay, how you like to address people, okay, people older than you, people younger than you, okay, people much more senior than you in terms of working experience, right? So this is where, again, yes, talking about ergonomics, there's lots of ergonomics. Most of the ergonomics that we are going to learn in this course is about physical ergonomics. Okay, we do have cognitive ergonomics. Okay, we do have physical ergonomics, right? So again, this is another definition. So what is ergonomics basically? All right. So again, we're talking about human, we are talking about workplace, and we are talking about the work that they are doing. Okay. So before we could somehow go further or look further into ergonomics, why we need to consider ergonomics in certain things, right? So this is where we can throw out these questions, okay, to initiate why we need to consider ergonomics. Okay, for example, these are some of the questions. How can human body dimensions be applied to car seat design? Right? How? Right. So this is where we look into human anthropometry, right? Body dimensions. Okay, because by body dimensions we could know what is the seat pan, okay, what is the width, what is the breadth, what is the length, what is the height, and so on and so forth. Right? So by having all these information, this is where we could design a good car seat design. Right? For example, okay, yesterday I gave an example whereby when the first car was being invented, okay, it has 4 wheels, okay, and then there's a seat for the driver and also for the co-driver, and then there's a steering wheel and there's a braking system, whatnot. Right? And when there's technological advancement, okay, when cars started to evolve, okay, due to technological advancement, okay, so engineers started to put in more safety features on it, right? For example, they started to put absorbers, suspension links, okay. So the first reason why they put all these safety factors is mainly for the car, right? For the car, so that it doesn't tumbles, tips over, doesn't causing the car to be what we call that, to be malfunction, right? To reduce vibration, okay. But when engineers started to think about how about the passengers in the car, how about the safety or comfort of the passengers in the car, so this is where the suspension system, the absorber system, started to play a big role, okay, to reduce all these vibration, all these bumpy rides, to make sure that the passengers in the car have a very comfortable ride, very comfortable or very what do you call that? Very safe journey, right? So this is where we can throw out questions, okay, towards certain situation, towards certain design, towards certain procedure or whatnot, okay, and we could see whether yes, we do need to consider ergonomics in it, or how could we consider ergonomics in that particular design, right? So when we look into ergonomics in a workplace, okay, why in a workplace? Because as a mechanical engineering students, as an engineering students, we are looking more of the ergonomics, okay, at a workplace, okay, in the perspective of a workplace, right? So we do have the physical environment, okay, we do have the maybe the surrounding, right, maybe the air, okay, and then maybe the physiology, okay, means that in terms of the human body themselves, okay, in terms of their metabolism, in terms of their muscles, okay, in terms of their strength, okay, and then we look into maybe their body size, okay, the anthropometry, okay, how big they are, okay, what is the seat height that we need to design for them, okay, what is the type of material that we need to put into this design and whatnot, okay, because of their body size, okay. Then in terms of their movements, okay, the biomechanics, okay, their posture, okay, their technique of lifting, right, and then psychological effects, okay, in terms of emotions, okay, and also in terms of their social psychology, okay, their relationship among the workers, among the employers, okay, and also in terms of macroeconomic ergonomics, means that things outside of the what do you call it, outside of the workplace relation, okay, in terms of working hours, okay, in terms of their facilities, okay, in terms of their union, all these things, right? So all these are things that maybe we need to consider in a workplace, right? Then in terms of safety, right, and also finally in terms of the system itself. Right, so we do have this user-centered design, okay, in terms of the things going around, okay, about ergonomics in that particular organization, right? Whom are the person to be in charge of? Okay, so all these are the elements that maybe need to be considered at a particular workplace. All right. Any questions so far? So I've been giving a lecture for about, what, 1 hour, is it? So can we take 5 for a while?
Yes.
Is everyone here with me? Right. So we'll be taking 5 minutes break for a while. Okay, it's now 3:30. So I'll be seeing you guys back in another 5 minutes at 3:35. Right. So maybe you can stretch back your back. Maybe you can do a very simple exercise, okay, to soothe your muscles or whatnot, or maybe a cup of tea or coffee. So I'll be stopping the recording for a while, okay, before we continue with the second part at 3:35. Right? So see you again at 3:35. Thank you very much. Okay, welcome back. Is everyone with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes,
so
sir.
we recording the second session. So we do have a couple of other slides to finish this first chapter 1. Right. So I'll be sharing my screen. Right. So okay. So again, when we talk about ergonomics, okay, in the perspective of engineering student, so we always refer to things that is being done at the workplace. Okay, that is related to engineering field. Right. So benefits of ergonomics. I think by now you do have the idea of what are the benefits. Okay, what does ergonomics contributes to the human or to the human operator at the workplace. Okay, so basically it increases their productivity. Okay, increase the product quality, safety, health, and so on and so forth. Right, because when a human, okay, let's say somebody, a human operator at an assembly line, okay, is being provided with all these ergonomic chair, okay, all these sufficient lighting, okay, sufficient air conditioning, right? So they are very comfortable in doing their work. So normally they can somehow reduce any mistakes or any errors in assembling the parts and also the components. Okay, so the company can somehow reduce WIP, work in progress products. Okay, so by this they can increase their productivity. Okay, they can increase the product quality and whatnot. Okay, so this is very, very related to us. Okay, for example, okay, you are doing something in a hot place, right? Something with low air circulation, right? And then you need to do something that is very, very tedious. Okay, so this is where it creates a very stressful environment for you guys, and I do believe that you will not perform. Okay, you will not perform as good as if you are in a very good workplace with good environment and whatnot, right? So the benefits is a list of being listed here. So if it is being asked in the question, in the test, okay, your test 1 and test 2 will cover only chapter 1 and also chapter 2. And your test 2 will cover chapter 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, because chapter 1 will only carry 20% of your total marks, and test 2 will carry another 40%, much more bigger portion of marks, of your total marks. Okay, so I do hope you could give, okay, your own opinion, your own answers, okay, towards these questions. Okay, so if you look into traditional and also present tools and also machines, okay, whereby previously it is not being ergonomics is not being considered in those traditional tools or machines. So now, okay, things are being much more advanced. Okay, technological advancement is very, very fast nowadays. Okay, things evolve very, very rapid nowadays. So this is where you could see when ergonomics is being embedded in such designs for tools or machines. Okay, the attributes, okay, or the features of that particular tools or machine, okay, is much more better. Okay, so these are some of the comparisons, okay, between traditional tools and machines, okay, compared to what do we have now. Okay, what do we have now? Right. So how could we apply all these ergonomics in our country, basically in Malaysia, right? In an industrially developing country, right? So this is where we look into countries, okay, developed countries, okay, like the US, okay, the UK, okay, Japan, right? About their technology, how do they apply all these technologies? So this is where we could adapt their technology to fit, okay, and to somehow fill in the gaps that we do have in our country. But again, you must do remember, when we adapt all these technology, these technologies are being designed, these tools, okay, the machines, okay, the apparatus, anything, okay, the procedures or whatnot, okay, maybe the clothings, okay, is being designed based or being designed for their population, okay, for the US population, for the UK population. So when we adapt all these things, right, we need to somehow to make it suit all these things, to make it suit our Malaysian people, right? So this is where we can adapt technology. Okay, we can improving working conditions by introducing interventions. Okay, by acquiring modern technology. Okay, by modifying all these techniques. So these are some of the efforts that we could push forward for our country, for Malaysia, right? So this is where anyone has opened the HFEM website, Human Factors and Ergonomic Society Malaysia, HFEM. Anyone has opened it? No? Yes, you? Right? So maybe after this, if you have some free time, you can just Google www.hfem, Human Factors Ergonomic Malaysia, HFEM. So basically, the full name is Human Factors and Ergonomic Society Malaysia, .org. So in there, you can see a group of people with different backgrounds, that is interested, in this ergonomics field. So you can see a lot of people with different background, not only those people in ergonomics, but you can see many people, that wants to contribute to the nation, towards ergonomics matters in Malaysia. Right? So nowadays we are trying to educate people, we are trying to educate the public, we are trying to educate the school children, university students about ergonomics. How important is ergonomics? Right? So in there, you yourself as a student, you could be one of the members, or student members of the HFEM society, right? And then after you graduate, you can become a full member. Like me, I'm a full member. And basically, if you look at the SIG, Special Interest Group, in the menu, right? So there's this one SIG, that is called the Transportation SIG, Special Interest Group for Transportation. So currently, I am sharing the SIG, I'm sharing the SIG, whereby under the SIG we do have land transport. Land transport means that rail, road, track, and many more. And we do have air and maritime. Right? Air and maritime, whereby air is for air transport and maritime is for sea transport, right? So in there we do have many people with different backgrounds that sits together that wants to contribute and make improvements and also spread awareness of ergonomics here in Malaysia. And this HFEM society is basically governed under the IEA, International Ergonomic Association, one association that controls all the ergonomic society in the countries, all the countries registered with under IEA. So Malaysia is one of the country registered under IEA, and we do have HFEM to represent our group of people that is in the ergonomic group. So with applying all these, right? So we do need more trainings, and we do need to educate people, right? Need to educate people. So one of the effort is what you are taking now, ergonomic design. So this is where we do introduce ergonomics, to the mechanical engineering students. In health sciences, there's one topic on ergonomics also, right? In FSG, they also asked our lecturer to give one of the topics of ergonomics to them. And last semester, FSPU, Faculty Seni Bina dan Ukur, FSPU, Architecture Faculty. So they also asked our lecturer, Dr. Ahmad Mushairi, to offer ergonomic design to their students. Because why? Because they are architects designing buildings. So they need to know also what are the requirements, what are the human factors, that needs to be considered when designing a building, okay, especially in terms of the space, in terms of the air circulation, in terms of the lighting, right, in terms of the maybe in terms of the colors and whatnot. Okay, so this is where all of the areas of field, okay, again, I do like to stress this, that has a human in it, okay, that is doing something, okay, working on something, and in a particular workplace or in a particular environment. So this is where there's a requirement for people to consider ergonomics, right? So these are other contributions, okay, that we could further convey, okay, to the public. Okay, so based on the ILO, ILO is the International Labour Office, International Labour Office. So they have come up with a guideline, okay, with a requirement. Okay, if you like to design certain things, okay, if you like to set up certain things, okay, so these are the requirements, okay, by the International Labour Office. Okay, so these are some of the among of the requirements. Okay, for example, when you are dealing with manual material handling or material storage, okay, so this is where you need to provide all these things. Okay, in terms of the ramps, if you have some inclinations, okay, in terms of the mechanical devices, if you are lifting something, whether you should use a crane or you should use maybe a trolley, or just or maybe you need to use a forklift, or just enough to use a trolley, right? So this is where it is your responsibility. I would like to stress, when we are applying ergonomics at the workplace, it is your responsibility. Why I call it your responsibility? Because after you finish getting your first degree in mechanical engineering, you will be someone out there. You will be an assistant manager. You will be a senior engineer one day. Okay, you will be a site supervisor one day. You will be a safety officer one day, right? So when you are at the top management, amongst the management that you have power, okay, you can make decisions. This is where you need to provide all these to your workers, to your employees, right? You must make sure that they only carry a maximum weight of 20 kilograms, for example. Okay, you must make sure all the signage are being visible at the particular compound. Okay, right? Besides material storage and handling, you have hand tools. Okay, so what are the type and right hand tools that your workers need to use? Okay, what are the vibrations being generated by the hand tools? Is it appropriate? Is it within the safe limit, okay, of the human operators, right? Is that hand tools, okay, machine safety, okay, what are the guards that you need to put on, okay, when there's something rotating, when there's some debris coming out from that rotating material, okay, there's a lathe machine or a milling machine, right? Where's the safety buttons, okay, what is the height, okay, what is the, do your employees, do your workers need to reach out? Okay, do they need to exert more force? Okay, maybe to pull the guard, to pull the door, the safety door or whatnot, right? So again, this is your responsibility, and this is where the ILO, okay, the National Labour Office, has listed everything. Okay, the standards, I can say the standards lah. Okay, the standards or the requirements that you need to follow. What happens if you don't follow? What happens if you don't fulfill all this requirement? This will affect the workers. Okay, maybe it will low down the productivity. There will be lots of accidents. Okay, there will be lots of absenteeism. Okay, when there's lots of absenteeism, okay, there's lots of MC. There's lots of medical claims. So this will increase other costs of certain companies. Okay? So there's other things like workstation designs. Okay, in terms of your height. Okay, of your working area, your tabletop, your table area, right? So whether your hands is below your elbow, okay, same level of your elbow or higher than your elbow. So all these things affects your workers basically, right? And sometimes the workers do not know about this. Okay, they just know, okay, they need to do this A, B, C, D, E, right? So they will do it day by day, and at the end of the month they will get their salary. And they will repeat it day by day, and at the end of the month they will get their salary. But along the years, along the month they are working, okay, this is where they will start to feel pain at certain body areas. Maybe they will be experiencing MSD, musculoskeletal disorder. So this is where they will take some rest, some MC, okay, they will be absent for their work. Or maybe they go to work in that condition, they will cause accident to cause at that particular workstation or workplace, right? So again, I would like to stress, it is not the responsible of the worker, it is responsible of the superior, of the employer, right? So here we can see about workstation design, okay, about lighting, okay, what type of light should we use, what is the luminosity that we should provide, okay, is it enough to be this bright, or is it too glare, okay, for the workers, okay, or is it too dim for the workers, right? So these are the factors, these are the things that you need to consider when we are setting up or when we are designing a particular place, right? And then at the premise itself, okay, it must be safe for the workers, okay, there must be some ventilation, okay, some air circulation in there, right? And then the facilities should be good, okay, in terms of safety, in terms of the PPE, in terms of the exit route, okay, if any emergency happens, okay, especially when there's fire, right? So these are all the things that you need to look into, okay, because why? Because the workers at the workplace are humans, okay, just because of that, okay, because they are doing something for you, they are working, okay, they are working at a workplace, at a workstation, and they are human, right? So this is where you need to consider ergonomics, okay. And then we do have finally the organization itself, right? So this is where not only the physical thing, not only the facilities, not only the the tangible, okay, equipment, tools and whatnot, but also the organization itself, okay, must be in a way whereby human can interact with their superior, or they can interact with their workers, okay, effectively, okay, and both sides gets a win-win condition, right? Because again, when people are not happy, okay, they become stressed, it will affect their work, and when it affects their work, okay, the most dangerous thing is that effect could cause accidents to happen. When an accident happens, you'll be having injuries, maybe there's fatalities, maybe, okay, and maybe there will be lots of other chain reactions of this, okay, whereby, you know, production needs to be stopped, okay, product could not be delivered, okay, so it will affect your income, okay, and lots of many other things. All right, so I think that's all for the first sub-chapter of chapter 1. Okay, so I do hope you do have the idea of what is ergonomics basically. All right. Okay, could I have everyone to open their camera on now before we wrap up the session? Okay, so what I've introduced to you today is basically some overview of ergonomics, basically. Okay, why we need to look into ergonomics, and basically ergonomics involves lots of areas, right? Okay, are you with me? This is a com check.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So could you please switch on your camera? Okay, just for the last briefing, right? So this is where you should be able to justify why we need to consider ergonomics. Okay, why we need to include ergonomics in our design. Okay, in our workplace setup. Okay, in our procedure maybe. Okay, because why? Because again, three things: there's human. Okay, and the human is doing some work, right? And he or she is doing it at a particular workplace. So workplace is anywhere. You are at your workplace, I'm at my workplace, I'm at my workstation, right? So I can see some of you are sitting in a very good, comfortable gaming chair, right? With all those headrests. Maybe some of you are only leaning by the wall, maybe. Not seeing anyone yet. Okay, lying on the bed, maybe. Jangan, right? So maybe some of you, is there anyone running on the treadmill? Sambil-sambil dengar lecture kan, sambil masuk gym angkat berat. So maybe you are at your own workplace, right? Because you are human, because you are doing something and you are at the workplace, so you need to consider ergonomics, right? So I hope again for chapter 1 and also chapter 2, this will cover your first test, okay? So our test this semester will be a bit different, okay? I've just discussed with PM Ismail, okay, just to test you on certain things, and also on your understanding of ergonomics, right? So I hope that you can do a lot of further readings and just look at YouTube. What is ergonomics? Okay, YouTube memang one of the second tutor for you, right? Okay, you can just type anything and YouTube will show you all the things that you need to know, right? So this is where you need to know, okay, sometimes do we need to consider ergonomics on this? Do we need to consider ergonomics on that, right? So this is where, again, 3 things. You do have human, you do have them doing something at a particular workplace, and that workplace must have an environment, okay? Everything must have an environment, right? Asnawi is at your home, is it? And are you sitting on a chair, or are you just lying on the lying back on the wall? Right. So you are sitting bersila, is it?
Yeah, yes.
Yes. Tu tak lama lagi tu kebas satu kaki tu. There's lots of semut. What do you do when you have all these kita panggil apa, kebas? What do you do, Asnawi, normally bila kaki bersemut? What do you do?
Saya selalu luruskan kaki ya.
Lurus kaki, right? Next time when you do have this semut-semut kat kaki, what you do? You go to buy a red set and you start to spray your food lah. Nanti dah sejuk kan, ya? Right? Okay, so just joking, right? So again, I hope by today you do get some idea what is ergonomics. Okay, mainly I know most of you already know what is ergonomic, right? Because in design last semester previously you have been introduced about ergonomics. MSc 435 when we have introduced about ergonomics, right? So but in the perspective of an engineering students, so which area or which part should we apply ergonomics basically, right? So this is the thing that you need to know lah. Okay, right? Any questions so far? I think it is very light again, relax kan? Tak ada kira-kira lagi tak ada kira-kira lagi. Okay, so it's already 4 o'clock, right? So I would like to thank everyone for being with me today. Thank you very much, okay, for your time, also your attention. Okay.